Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I've got 5 commander cards for you that are secretly incredibly powerful, and yet basically no one out there uses them. I'm here to tell you what they are and why you should be playing them, and even some commanders that really could make the most of them. So let's start off with one from my childhood with Glory. Glory is an incredible card and an incredibly unique card. This one only sees play in, well, 0% of eligible decks out there according to EDH Rec. 5,159 decks in total, which is, again, basically nothing in the scope of Commander for the amount of decks that could use this, essentially. A 3/3 Incarnation with flying for 5 mana, which is not useless on the battlefield, but you don't really want it there. You want it in the graveyard. Again, incredibly unique card. For 2 and a white, choose a color. Creatures you control gain protection from the chosen color until end of turn. Activate only if it's in your graveyard. So basically, again, you want this card not on the battlefield. 3/3 flyer is not bad, but again, 5 mana, my goodness, no. You want it in the graveyard, and while it is there, it is an incredibly versatile thing where, yeah, protection is something that is super powerful, so powerful that we basically don't really see it all that much anymore unless it's incredibly specific. If it's like, oh, protection from instants, protection from sorceries, that kind of a thing. Protection from a specific color, again, covers so many different aspects in Magic that it is kind of a cheat code in a way, because not only does it protect from, well, targeted removal from your opponents, also, like, damage-based board wipes as well, or even, yes, for your opponents, even blocking your creatures. Again, if you're going up against a player and they've got a certain color creature that's, blocking, you're like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, my creatures become, protected from red or whatever it is, and all of a sudden my army can get through. So it is basically like evasion, while also protecting your entire team, again, on repeat out of your graveyard. You can just keep using that. Again, there isn't like a, oh yeah, you exile when you utilize it. No. You can keep utilizing it. And of course, there are certain commanders out there that can very easily get this into your graveyard and should most definitely be considering it. Like, oh, I don't know, Showstopping Genesis Engine, which only has it in 90 decks in total. Yeah, I went up there and did the math on EDH Rec, and yeah, 90 decks in total. Showstopping utilizes Glory. An 8/8 vehicle for 4 mana in Azorius, pay 1 tap, draw 2, discard a card, create a 1/1 pilot that can crew vehicles 2 or greater, and it's got crew 8. Oh, by the way, it also can be your commander because it's technically not a creature. Anyways, so basically this is a commander that, yeah, can hit incredibly hard as an 8/8. That is, of course, 1/3 essentially. It just takes 3 shots to actually take someone out with this, or much less, again, if you've got any other pump effects, or if you've got, like, a double strike effect. And, yeah, you can just protect your entire team or help get Showstopping through with Glory in your graveyard. And, of course, it's super easy to do so because this commander allows you to very easily loot. Draw 2, discard 1. Cool, so just say, oh, Glory, okay, cool, yeah, I actually don't even want you in my hand. Discard it into the graveyard and then utilize it in a very effective fashion. Next up, Verena Lich Queen, a 4/4 zombie wizard for 4 mana and Esper. This one only has Glory in 70 decks in total. Again, just think about how many Verena decks are out there, and Showstopping as well, and just only 70 in total Verena. Whenever you attack with one or more zombies, draw that many cards, discard that many cards, you gain that much life. Pay 2, exile 2 cards in your graveyard, create a tap 2/2 black zombie creature token. This is yet another one, again, that is a mass loot type commander. Hey, draw a ton of cards, discard a ton of cards, and instead of it being a downside or discarding cards, you turn that into an upside with something like Glory, where you actually, again, want to get that in your graveyard. Again, protect your entire team, protect your army, and also get them through on that attack. So, yeah, it can be a game-changing card for you. Finally, even Hashaton should be concerned with this card. It should be actually considering this card. It is a 1/3 zombie wizard that is just kind of taking over Commander right now with how popular it is for 2 mana, but it's actually in Esper. Whenever you discard a creature card, you may pay 3 mana in total. If you do, create a tap token to copy that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. Now, here's the thing. Sure, you could discard Glory and be like, oh yeah, I'll pay 3 mana. Why not? I'll have a 4/4 flying version of Glory. Why not? That's fine. But of course, this is a commander where you've got access to so many different ways and you're heavily incentivized to have so many different ways to discard things. that just being able to have Glory easily get to your graveyard can be a massive thing for you. So yeah, basically any of these commanders and a lot other out there can definitely consider Glory. It is a fantastic card, again, one that can protect your creatures, one that can get them through, one that can help out with a ton of situations, and again, it's repeatable. It doesn't even have to be in play to do so. It just sits in your graveyard, and when it's there, it does so much work for you. So yeah, Glory is a fantastic card, again, currently seeing play in, well, according to EDH Rec, 0% of eligible decks out there. Again, just 5,000 decks or so out of the thousands and thousands and thousands of decks that are out there. Make sure that you pick this one up right now. Again, just 29 cents. Next up, we're going to step things up just a little bit when it comes to percentages, and this one being used. Asinine Antics. This sees play in about 1% of eligible decks out there, which, again, more than Glory, but not a ton at all, obviously. 14,000 or so decks that actually this sees play in, but again, when it comes to the mass amounts of decks out there, the hundreds of thousands of decks out there, even on just EDH Rec, it's not seeing all that much play, and it should. This 53-cent gem is a sorcery for, again, 4 mana in blue, and then, yeah, you can also, cast it for, instant speed if you want, for just 2 extra mana if you really want to. Cool, do it. But for each creature your opponents control, create a cursed roll token that's attached to that creature, and if you control another roll on it, you get that one in the graveyard. Enchant creature is a 1/1. The cursed roll is such a game-changing token to put on something, because it says no matter how big your creature is, it does not matter. It is now just a 1/1. You're basically like frogifying every single one of your opponent's creatures. But of course, that's just like the beginning of why this card is so incredibly effective, because, well, there's not too many ways out there to mass make enchantments. There really aren't. And this is one that you can very easily do so. So a commander like, Tuvasa the Sunlit should definitely be considering this as basically like a mini board wipe in a way, like a one-sided board wipe in a way, making your opponent's creatures not useless because they still have their activated abilities and stuff, but much, much tinier, just little 1/1s that are easily dealt with. And on top of that, again, hey, Tuvasa loves enchantments. A 1/1 Merfolk Shaman for 3 mana in Bant. Gets ++1 for each enchantment you control. If you cast your first enchantment spell, each turn draw a card. Here's the thing that some players out there might not realize. Those tokens that you're creating, the Cursed Roll tokens, yes, you're putting them on your opponent's creatures, but you control them. They are yours. So, yeah, that actually counts toward Tuvasa's pump effect. Meaning that, again, if your opponents have, say, 20 creatures out there, that is +20/+20 just for casting a 4-mana spell that also heavily impacted your opponent's armies and made them super tiny. So yeah, again, an Enchantress type strategy, Constellation type cards, absolutely love this, because yeah, you've got like Eidolon of Blossoms in play. Congratulations, you're drawing so many cards. It is such a good card for Enchantress type strategies especially. But also, yeah, commanders like Garrison Star and Kellermorph. A 3/2 Tyranid Human for 3 mana in Izzet, Ward 2. Whenever another source you control deals exactly 1 damage to a permanent player, deals 2 damage to that permanent or player. So, all of a sudden, you are, well, incentivized to ping things quite a bit, and there's a lot of different pinging effects that you're taking advantage of this commander. But also on top of that, yeah, now you're making every single one of your opponent's creatures in range of getting taken out by a simple ping effect. So again, it kind of just says, hey, you know what? I'm dealing with your creatures by making them a bunch smaller now, and at some point, whenever I want to, basically, I'll utilize one of my tiny ping effects that pings everything, and all of a sudden, I'm going to be just, taking out your army very easily. Or how about even just like a Tolran Sky Summoner? This one only has it in 52 decks. I guess I should have said the previous ones. 245 for Tuvasa the Sunlit, 56 for Garrison Star, and just 52 for Tolran when it comes to utilizing Asinine Antics. It's a 2/2 Merfolk Wizard for 4 mana. Whenever you cast an insert short spell, create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. This is one that is super simple, super effective, and of course, yeah, casting this, congratulations, the sorcery, you get a 2/2, great. But also, keep in mind that you're just making creatures out there that are now the biggest creatures on the battlefield. Again, you turn all of your opponent's creatures, no matter how big they were, essentially, into just 1/1s, making them super tiny, and now your Drakes, which again, were probably tiny in comparison to your opponent's creatures, are the most massive things out there, literally twice as big as anything else on the battlefield that your opponents have. So again, this is a card that is just 53 cents. It's kind of like a mini board wipe in a way. It really changes the entire aspect of the game. It's one-sided. It has flash speed if you need it, which is great. But of course also, again, that whole enchantment, basically, mass production that you don't see ever anywhere else. And some players don't realize that those are your enchantments. Those are your enchantments, and they benefit you from things like Constellation or like pump effects like Tuvasa. It is an incredible card, and it is so underrated right now. Next up, let's step things down again, though, back down to 0% of decks on EDH Rec. 4,860 decks to its name. Showstopping Surprise is a surprise inclusion on this because I thought that this would see more play. This is the type of card, though, where if it had less text on it, it would see more play. It's an instant for 5 mana in red, and says, choose target creature you control, turn it face up if it's face down, then it deals damage equal to its power to each other creature. Here's the thing. That text in the middle of it, again, turn it face up if it's face down, is apparently a deterrent from players playing this card. That extra text, like, well, players like, oh, well, I'm not working with Morph, or, like, I don't have anything that's going to be face down, so, like, I don't need to utilize it. No, just literally ignore that. It does not matter. I mean, it might come in handy if, like, someone plays an Ixodron. Sure, there you go. There's your benefit for that. But literally, just ignore the card. It does not matter at all. Because that part, yeah, sure, it might come in handy, but who cares? This is an instant speed, one-sided board wipe that has so much potential for the right commander out there. It is, again, basically like Chandra's Ignition, yes, is kind of like the key one that you see that are utilized in those types of strategies. Chandra's Ignition has a little bit of a difference, though. Chandra's Ignition also has that creature deal damage to opponents, which is, of course, great. You're taking out your opponents at the same time, which is very nice. This one doesn't do that. That's okay, though. This one, unlike Chandra's Ignition, though, is instant speed. And an instant speed, one-sided board wipe out of nowhere can be absolutely massive. So again, if you've got any kind of a commander with any kind of power, or one that works with power, or certain types of keywords, you need to utilize this. Again, 7-cent card. Just 7 cents for this gem. Here's a commander that can utilize it that has literally just 2 decks. I think this commander is nearly in the top 100. I think it's like 102 last time I checked. Dihada, Binder of Wills, sees so much play. 2 decks. 2 decks in total. Utilize this card. 5 starting loyalty for 4 mana in Mardu. +2, up to 1 target legendary creature gains vigilance and lifelink, and indestructible until your next turn. There's other amazing things with this as well, but one of the keywords that works so well with Show-Stopping Surprise is lifelink. Because lifelink, again, applies to that creature, and so does the damage that Show-Stopping Surprise is outputting. The actual card itself is not dealing the damage. It lets the creature deal the damage. So because of that, again, you gain all that life that it's dishing out. This can be a game-changing, if not game-ending play, because it just pads your life total to an amount where your opponents can't ever, ever, ever come near you. Literally, again, let's say you've got a, 7-power creature, okay? And there are 20 creatures on the board outside of your commander. Cool. Guess what? You're gaining 140 life. You are having that commander dish out all that damage, or whatever creature it is, again, dish out all of that damage. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I just gained 140 life. And, yeah, good luck taking me out, opponents, because I just wiped all the board. I've got the only creature in play still. And my commander's in play still as well, because it doesn't take out my commander, which is a planeswalker. And all of a sudden, I gained all this life. Yeah, that can be quite good. And I probably should mention that this one, yes, the planeswalker can be your commander. It also does some other amazing things, too. That being said, let's move on. Queen Marchesa has so many more copies of Show-Stopping Surprise in its decks because it has 10. It has 10. Just 10. A 3/3 human assassin for 4 mana in Mardu Death Touch Haste enters the battlefield to become the monarch. Beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent is the monarch, create a 1/1 black assassin creature token with Death Touch and Haste. Here's the thing. Again, like I said, that it works incredibly well with commanders or with creatures that have lifelink. It also works incredibly well with Death Touch, because it doesn't matter that Queen Marchesa just has 3 power and is dishing out 3 power to all creatures. It just matters that it has Death Touch. It is dishing that out with the Death Touch, meaning that every single creature is going to be taken out. So, yeah, again, instant speed, one-sided board wipe, that sure takes out your other creatures too, but Queen Marchesa is still on the board. That is definitely going to have a lot of applications, and of course, you can cast it on your own turn, too. If you're like, oh, that person's the Monarch, they've got good blockers up right now. I don't like that. I want to get the Monarch back. So I'll just cast it, take out every creature, and then hit an opponent and get the Monarch back. And just keep it for a while, obviously, because you just took everything out. Next up, though, Zergo Helm Smasher. When it comes to like a Voltron-type commander, absolutely it can utilize this again. Instant speed, board wipe, a 7/2 Orc Warrior, haste for 5 mana in Mardu, attacks each combat if able, indestructible as long as it's your turn. Whenever a creature dealt damage by Zergo, this turn dies, put a counter on it. Why doesn't this see more play on this commander? Just 22 decks utilizing this. It is insane. Again, literally applies to all of this. 7 power, basically probably going to be enough to take out every single other creature on the board. You probably don't have any other creatures on the board really, or ones that you care about, because this is a Voltron type commander. You wipe out everything. Again, instant speed, whatever you want. You also get an absurd amount of counters on this. Have fun. And you might have something that gives this, again, like lifelink too, so then gain the life as well. Absolutely absurd that doesn't see more play with this. Or how about Rika Brutal Gladiator? 63 decks. Again, this is so many more decks than the other ones, but still a tiny amount, a minuscule amount. Just 63 decks utilize this amazing card. 7/4 Human Warrior for 5 mana in Jund. Must be blocked if able. As long as it's your turn, it's indestructible. Whenever it deals damage to a creature, if that creature was dealt excess damage this turn, that creature's controller sacrifices a non-creature, non-land permanent. This turns this into a massive, even more massive board wipe again. 7 power is going to be enough to take out basically everything, right? So you take out absolutely everything, and all of a sudden you are forcing a bunch of sacrifice. So yeah, you're like, okay, cool, yeah, all my opponents sacrifice. Well, kind of all your other non-creature, non-land things, they're all going to be gone as well. So again, a card, Showstopping Surprise, which is basically no play. Again, according to EDH Rec, like 0% of eligible decks utilize it. It is a one-sided instant speed board wipe that again has the potential to benefit from things like lifelink, like death touch, etc., etc. It is a card that players out there, literally, they're reading the card, they see choose target creature you control, turn it face up if it's face down. They stop right there and they say, well, I'm not playing with face down creatures, I'm not playing with more. Ignore that. Stop caring about that. It doesn't matter. Literally, that can only be an upside for you if someone plays like Ixodron and then you need to flip something over, and you can. Good for you. But ignore that. It's just instant speed, Chandra's Ignition, minus the dealing damage to your opponent's faces. That's still amazing. Make sure you pick this one up. Again, it's just 7 cents. Next up, again, at 0% of eligible decks out there, 6,000 or so decks to its name, 51-cent card, Promise of Power. I still don't understand how this one doesn't see more play. I really, really don't. A source for 5 mana in black, choose one. You draw 5 cards and lose 5 life, or put a black demon creature token with flying into play with power toughness, each equal to the number of cards in hand as token comes into play. Entwine for 4. Here's the thing. Again, when it comes to like giving you a decision, sometimes players actually, again, when it comes to that extra text, it's like, well, I don't really care about, making flying demons or whatnot. Yeah, they just kind of like stop there. Like, no, like literally, if this was just like 5 mana, draw 5, lose 5, be like, oh yeah, that's really good. I'd like to do that. And that's what you're going to be doing the vast majority of the time. I mean, if you've got the extra mana, sure, entwine it, great. Get a giant, demon in play too with flying. That's great. Or if you've got a populate type strategy, yeah, that can be great as well. There are going to be situations where you're like, yeah, that demon is coming in play handy, which is quite nice. That being said, again, the most part, this card is 5 mana, draw 5, which is basically unheard of when it comes to the amount of card draw, essentially. When it comes to that, when it comes to losing life, you don't care about that 5 life, right? Again, 1 life for 1 card is well worth it any day of the week in Commander. Again, for like a Phyrexian Arena, this is basically like a sped up version of it, that you get that 5 cards right away, you lose the 5 life, versus waiting 5 turns to actually get that to build up. Now, of course, there's times and places for cards like Phyrexian Arena, obviously, but hey, drawing 5 cards right away for 5 mana, that is insane. You're basically replacing your entire hand in a way and digging so deep in your deck. And of course, there are certain commanders that don't care at all about that life loss. I mean, like Dina Soul Steeper. When was the last time a Dina deck cared about its life total? A 1/3 Dryad Druid for 2 mana Golgari. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. By paying 1, you can sacrifice a creature plus X plus 0. X sacrifice creature's power. It's nice. What matters mostly, again, is literally you have so many different ways to gain so much life throughout the game with this commander. 5 life for 5 cards is, of course, well worth it. And you're going to probably draw into more ways to gain you more life. So it's going to make up for itself in that. Currently, with Dina decks, it only sees play in 66 of them right now. Next up, Laisha Shroud of Dusk. 45 decks in total utilize this amazing card. A 5/5 Angel for 5 mana in Orzhov. Rather than pay 2 for each previous time you cast a spell for the command zone this game, pay 2 life that many times. Flying lifelink, whenever a player casts a spell, they lose 2 life. This is a commander that already is all about life loss, but also life gain. You're going to have so many different ways to gain life with this, including, well, your commander itself, which is a 5/5 lifelinker, so you're going to get through with that flying, and you're going to gain that life back that you're losing anyways when you cast the spell. there you go. And of course, anyways, you might have some ways to, well, I don't know, life swap your opponents because you are already incentivized to go down in life total with this kind of a commander. So essentially, again, drawing 5 cards for 5 life is no big deal at all. Or how about il-Kor Sadistic Pilgrim? Again, outside of like life swap strategies or just life gain strategies in general, how about like aristocrat style strategies that like you just might just happen to gain life. You don't really care too much about that, but you just happen to gain life. Great, good for you. A 2/2 Phyrexian Kor Cleric with Death Touch for 2 mana or Zov. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Great, that's nice. More importantly, though, for those kinds of decks, creature comes to play, or creature control dies, I should say, each opponent loses 1 life. So again, that aristocrat style, like, okay, I sacrifice all these things, I drain my opponents, great, but you're also just padding your life total just happenstance throughout the game by, gaining that life when your creatures actually come into play. And again, only 11 decks utilize this card. This is such good card advantage for you. And again, it has that flexibility, which is a benefit in some players, again, when it comes to the amount of, text on a card. Sometimes it would just literally be seeing more play if it had less text on it. If it just said like, hey, 5 mana, draw 5, lose 5, like, yeah, that's good. I like to draw cards. Instead of having all this extra text where it's like, well, demon flying, I don't really care about that, or entwining. It doesn't matter. It's extra and it's good for you. So please, please, please pick up this card right now. It is a fantastic, amazing way to draw so many cards so quickly. And again, give you that demon if you need it. Or if you have a populate deck, oh my goodness. Okay, cool. I just made like an 8/8 demon. Great. Okay, awesome. I will populate that. It's got flying. Cool. I'm going to swing through. But yeah, at the very least, 5 cards, 5 life. It's worth it. 51 cents. Pick it up now. Okay, we're going to be going up a little bit with this one, all right? This one is up to 2% of eligible decks out there, okay? 2% of eligible decks, according to EDH Rec, utilize Wrap and Vigor, and that should be so much more, especially in comparison to what another card is that I'll bring up here in a little bit. This should be seeing so much more play than it is. An instant for 2 mana in green, regenerate each creature you control. Very simple, very effective. It is a way to save your entire team for 2 mana, and there are very few ways to do that, especially in, well, I mean, there's more in white, but especially in green, when it comes like, hey, save my entire team for a couple mana. Yeah, that's absolutely an amazing type card that a lot of decks out there could utilize. Again, how many times have you just wanted to save your entire team when a board wipe occurs? A lot. In regenerating, yeah, not the best way to save your entire team, but you'll take it. Who cares if they end up tapped? It does not matter. What you want is your creatures to stay in play. And of course, obviously, the comparison card is Heroic Intervention, one of the most powerful cards out there in Commander. It's in the top 100. It's quite high up there right now. I can't remember exactly where it's at. It's probably in the top 30 or so, maybe the top 20. This sees play in 30% of eligible decks out there. Here's the number. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize it was even this high. 791,082 decks to its name. This card sees so much play. Again, literally like 15 times as much play as Wrap and Vigor. Now, this card is better. It just is strictly better. Instant speed for 2 mana, the exact same amount in green. Permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Yes, this is just inherently better. This is a very pushed card. It was very pushed when it was made compared to what other, protect your entire team, protect your permanent types of cards. It is a pushed card, obviously, and there are very few, if any, like truly comparable cards to this one. That being said, don't discount Wrap and Vigor because of that. It is still an amazing card. When it comes to typically what you want to do with this card, it is board wipe protection for your team. Typically, again, for your creatures. And that's exactly what Wrap and Vigor does. This is better at it, yes, giving both hexproof and also indestructible versus regeneration, but still, Wrap and Vigor regeneration is still amazing and played alongside of Heroic Intervention as well. When it comes to commanders that can utilize this card that don't really at all, Chatterfang is one of them. 300 decks is all that utilize Wrap and Vigor for Chatterfang. A 3/3 Scroll Warrior for 3 mana, one of the most popular commanders of all time. Forest Walk, if one or more tokens are created in your control, those tokens plus that many 1/1 squirrels are created instead. By also paying a single black mana, you can sacrifice X squirrels, give target creature plus X, minus X until end of turn. This is a commander that likes to go so wide, so quickly your opponent's heads are going to spin. It is a commander that can make so many creature tokens, yeah, you can take over the game. But here's the thing. You want to protect that. And when it comes to how ways you can do that, yeah, you've got Heroic Intervention, but you also should be utilizing Wrap and Vigor to protect your entire team again for just 2 mana. Keep that board safe. How about Miriam Sentinelworm. 312 decks utilize Rapid Vigor, a 6/6 Dragon Spirit for 6 mana in Teamer. Flying Ward 2, another non-token Dragon enters battlefield for your control. You get a token of it, except if it's legendary, it's not legendary. So basically, what you are doing again is going wide. Yeah, not quite as quickly as Chatterfang, but you're still going wide, but with higher value creatures, with some massive dragons and copies of dragons. So protect them for just, again, 2 mana. Or how about Lathril, Blade of the Elves? Okay, this one's a bit more, right? Lathril is one of the most popular commanders of all time. I think it's in the top 10 right now. But still, out of all those decks, only 1,973 actually utilize Rapid Vigor, which is basically nothing compared to the massive amount of decks that are built around Lathril. A 2/3 Elf Noble for 4 mana Golgari, Menace, deals counters should player create that many 1/1s. You tap to tap 10 untapped elves you control and drain your opponents by 10. Yeah, this is a commander that, again, can go so fast, so wide. You're going to get so many creatures out there, and you need to be able to protect them. And again, Rapid Vigor is an amazing way to do so for just 2 mana. Again, a card that, yes, it's not as good as Heroic Intervention. That doesn't mean that you can't actually also utilize it, or again, utilize it as a budget supplement for that instead. It should not be seeing just play in 2% of its eligible decks out there, when Heroic Intervention is seeing play in 30%. Should it be seeing play in more than that? No, but it should be seeing play in a lot more than it currently is. Go pick this one up right now. Okay, finally, actually, just a quick bonus that I want to actually highlight round, just because I think this is incredibly, well, not short-sighted, I wouldn't say, but kind of obnoxious in that this one just sees less play when it really shouldn't at all. This is Mastermind's Acquisition. This is a sorcerer 4 mana in black. It says choose 1. Search life for a card, put in your hand, then shelf your library. And if it stopped right there again, it would be seeing more play. Literally, again, by having the option to do something else, which is not an option in Commander, choose a card you own from outside the game and put in your hand, because that text is there, players do not play this card. There is nothing illegal with having this card in your deck, even though it has an option on it which literally cannot function. It does not work in Commander because the Rules Committee basically made it so that there isn't an outside the game. You can't use wish-type cards. Just because it has that doesn't mean it shouldn't be seeing play. Currently sees play in 0% of eligible decks out there. 0% according to EDA Trek. When in comparison, Diabolic Tutor sees so much play and is one of the most played cards in Commander when it comes to, well, budget-friendly tutors. 6% of eligible decks out there utilize Diabolic Tutor. Over 174,000 decks out there utilize this card. Yeah, I guess budget-wise it is like half the price, but really, again, like Mastermind's Acquisition isn't that expensive to actually make up for that difference. It is not. But literally, it does the exact same thing. Sorcerer 4 mana in black, search life for a card, put that card in your hand, then shelf your library. That is the exact same 100% thing as Mastermind's Acquisition. The only difference is it has more text on it. It says choose 1, and one of the options isn't an option. Again, it makes no sense to me at all that players are like, well, this has too much text on it. I don't want to utilize that part of it. Therefore, it's useless in my deck. It is the exact same thing as Diabolic Tutor. This is literally just Diabolic Tutor in Commander. This is Diabolic Tutor, and you have 2 of them. So again, if you want another Diabolic Tutor in your deck, utilize this card. I don't understand. Pick it up right now and pick up all these other ones in the card list in the link description below. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.